Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanderson, and we are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Monday, October 17th slate of NFL action. I'm super excited to dive into it. We do have a pretty decent game. The Broncos have been on primetime for literally, I think this is their third time, I believe. Maybe even fourth, I don't know. But they have been on primetime quite a bit. So, we're going to get another showing of the Broncos, but they are going to actually be taking on the Chargers. So it should actually be a pretty solid game. I hope that it is at least. Hopefully it's not a blowout. Hopefully it's not another, one touchdown game from both sides. But before we go ahead and dive into it, I did just want to go ahead and say we are still currently on the road to 7,000 subscribers. Now, I did want to go ahead and do a giveaway if we ended up hitting 7,000 by the time that the NBA season did start. Well, the NBA season does start as of tomorrow, and I'd be truly shocked if we got 90 subscribers in a day. But if somehow we can, I will definitely go ahead and do the giveaway. But I'm going to actually push it back another week. Obviously, once Tuesday ends up hitting, we will be doing daily videos for the NBA. So I will push it back another week. So if we go ahead and do it by next Tuesday, then I'll still be doing the giveaway. So make sure that if you guys are new, make sure that you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me, so much more than you guys will ever know. So, one more thing before we go ahead and dive into the recap as of yesterday. As of tonight, at the time that you guys are watching this, as of tonight, I will be going live for my fantasy basketball draft. Yes, I am going to be doing an ESPN fantasy basketball draft, and I'm going to be streaming it here on my YouTube. So make sure that if you guys do want to see how my draft goes, how my picks are going, if you guys even want to just come and hang out, make sure that you guys do turn on my notifications so that way you guys can see it, and I will also put a time right up here as well, what time I should be going live or around that time. So, but without any further ado, don't want to waste any more time. We will be going live at that point. We will also have a video schedule that would be put out as of tomorrow as well. I'm super stoked for the NBA, man. The NBA is literally one day away, and I'm so stoked for it. But let's go ahead and do a quick recap, shall we? So, we ended up having a 1-2 day, unfortunately. Definitely not the greatest of days, but the one play that I did like the most, the Ravens on the Giants under 45.5, that one did actually end up working out for us. So, I'm really glad that one did work. I felt like that was one that I was extremely confident in. I felt like if any team was going to be able to slow down Lamar, I low-key felt it was going to be these Giants. So, that one ended up working out for us. Then we did have the Packers, -7 versus the Jets. Maybe the Jets are actually that nice, or maybe the Packers are actually just bad. I don't know which one it was. This was a very, very weird week. The Falcons are looking great. Jets are looking great. Giants are looking great. It's definitely been a very strange week, but that one did not work out for us. The Jets ended up, I believe, winning outright. It was something. And then we did have Mark Andrews under 71.5 receiving yards. That was the only guy Lamar really threw to today. So that one did not work out for us either. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's plays. I found 3 plays that I really, really like. So we're going to start it off with a player prop that I do really like. We're going with Joshua Kelly, over 20.5 rush yards here versus Denver at +100 odds. Now, I love a little plus value, but this is a really good spot for it. He has covered in 3 of the 5 weeks so far this year, and he's actually been really solid against good teams. I know that Denver's not necessarily a top-tier team, but they are known for having a pretty solid defense. But the teams that Joshua Kelly has covered against, the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Browns, all pretty good teams, not necessarily the best defenses, but still overall pretty good teams nonetheless. The teams that he hasn't covered against, the Jags and the Texans. So he definitely plays up whenever he is going up against a better team. So I do think that Joshua Kelly is going to get quite a good number of attempts here in this game. Denver also gives up the 14th fewest rush yards per game. So they are kind of in that middle of the pack. But this is pretty crazy. At home, they only give up 91 rush yards per game. That's a pretty good number. But on the road, they give up 144 rush yards per game, which totals out to 25th worst in the entire NFL. So that's pretty crazy. They're definitely a much better team, especially when it comes to the rush defense at home this year. Definitely a team you want to fade on the road when it comes to that. Also, last week, Joshua Kelly did end up having 10 carries versus the Browns, and he was definitely able to make the most of it. I think we see a very similar workload here for Joshua Kelly, and it's a low over-under at 45.5. Anytime it's a low over-under, if you guys know me, I love to hammer the rush props. So I do think this is a pretty solid one. I know that Austin Eckler is the main guy there in LA, but I think that Joshua Kelly is he's starting to really make a name for himself. So I really do like that for our first play of the day. Joshua Kelly over 20.5 rush yards versus Denver at plus 100 odds. Now for our second player prop of the day, another plus value. We're going with Mike Williams over 5.5 receptions here at plus 100 odds. Now I really do like this. Once again, a couple different reasons. He's covered this in three of his 5 games so far this year, so 60% of the time so far this year. And he's actually had a pretty good number of targets. He's had 13, 11, 6, 10, and 4 targets so far this year. So other than the first week, he's been able to hit this pretty easily. And he has also covered in those 3 games where he did see double-digit targets. And I think he sees double digits once again. Keenan Allen is still going to be out here for the Chargers, making Mike Williams that number 1 option for sure. Denver is one of the best defenses when it comes to passing yards in general, so they're a very solid defense when it comes to passing. So normally this wouldn't be a spot I'd want to tail, but when it comes to just completions alone, they are 15th. So they do drop down quite a bit into that middle echelon when it comes to just completions. So they do give up a decent amount of completions. That's why I went with the receptions prop here for Mike Williams, as opposed to the passing or the reception yards, like the receiving yards, excuse me. I feel like the receptions might actually be a little bit safer of play. Last week versus the Broncos, Alec Pierce of the Indianapolis Colts, he did have 8 receptions. And the week before that, Devontae Adams of the Raiders, obviously, he had 9 receptions. So these guys, they definitely got enough targets. They got enough completions here to be able to hit an over like this. And Mike Williams is going to be the clear-cut number 1 for this team right now. So I definitely do think that he is going to be seeing a ton of targets here versus the Broncos, and if that's the case, then I definitely think he can hit this. So that is going to be our second play of the day. Mike Williams over 5.5 receptions at plus 100 odds. Now, I felt like I had to go with the side in this game, and I actually think that this is a pretty good one. We're going with the Chargers, minus 4.5 here, versus the Broncos at minus 110. I know it seems trappy, the Broncos only being 4.5-point dogs, especially after not a good start to the year, but I just can't pick them. There's no way I can. Chargers, they are 4-1 against the spread, covering 80% of the time so far this year. Denver, just 1-4. They have barely even covered it all, covering 20% of the time. Denver's also 0-3 against the spread in their primetime games so far this year. And once again, they're getting put on for another primetime, which is just funny to me. But they are 0-3 against the spread in primetime games. Chargers are also 9th when it comes to points per game. Denver's 31st. They're almost the worst offense at putting up points in the entire NFL, and I don't really foresee that changing here in this game. Denver is also 0-3 against the spread on the road. They have covered, the only game that they've covered in has been at home. So anytime they're on the road, just go ahead and chalk that one. And anytime they're in primetime, just go ahead and chalk that. They're not a good primetime team. They're really not good on the road. I definitely think that this is a spot that the Chargers really take care of business and win by at least a touchdown here. So that is going to be our third and final play of the day. Chargers minus 4.5 here versus the Broncos at minus 110 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, I will be going live as of tonight for my fantasy basketball draft. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys do come out. Make sure you guys say what's up. Make sure you guys let me know what your fantasy basketball team is going to be looking like. You know, the whole 9 yards. But I am really excited about that. We're still on the road to 7,000. We will be doing a giveaway once we get 7,000. So make sure that you guys are subbed. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Sander signing out. Peace.